Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, and I'm calling this Relationship Wednesday. It's the 17th of June, in case you've maybe forgotten. All days are morphing into weeks, are just turning into, seems like months since January, or as if we've had a whole year already. Anyway, now some of you may be thinking that I'm going to be talking about relationships with partners, husbands, friends, wives. No, I'm not. I'm going to be talking about the most important relationship you have, and that should be with yourself. So if we start with an affirmation, because I like my ABC, they're very quick and they can focus us. So the affirmation for being aware of yourself and understanding yourself is to say, I am me, I like me, and I know myself. And of course, lots of times I think I've said to you that people find it kind of difficult to talk about the me, the I, and the me, partly because we've been conditioned to say that that's being selfish thinking about ourselves. But if you don't know yourself, you can't actually possibly start to know or understand anyone else. So your breathing is good as well. So when you're doing your affirmation, take a deep breath in, the diaphragmatic breathing, in through your nose, hold, and then out through your mouth. And that calms you down, and you can start using the C, your creative imagination, to start looking at yourself kind of from the inside. This is not talking about appearance. It's not looking at how's my hair, how's my makeup, how are my clothes fitting on me. It's to talk about how you know yourself inside. So how can you have and maintain a healthy relationship with yourself? So the first thing you really should probably be doing is asking yourself some difficult questions. And these can be, how happy are you with your life? How happy are you with your career? If the answer is, well, I'm not really happy, or I'm not as happy as I could be, then at least you're identifying that, and you can do and should do something about it. Now, you can only change yourself. You can't change anyone else. But if you've got a healthy relationship with yourself, then it will improve the relationships you have with others. So it can be very difficult, but you need to also know your strengths and your weaknesses. Now, I've talked about challenges in the past. Challenges that we face come from the outside. Weaknesses are inside. So what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And it's always very difficult to kind of understand or want to accept that we have any weaknesses, but we're human, so we do have weaknesses. And I call it Quidia. Who am I? I have the shapes exercise, which I think people have seen before. It's 5 shapes. I think, is it that way around? There's a circle, triangle, squiggle, square, and rectangle. Now, what you should do is you should look at these and don't take a lot of time thinking about it. Just choose the 2 you like best. That's all. 2 you like best. And if you've chosen that, you can private message me or email me, and I can give you an idea of what your strengths and weaknesses are, because I think these things can actually be used as icebreakers, but I prefer if you just use it for yourself. You should not be labeling anyone else like, oh, I'm this, you're that, because there's nothing worse than that. We're very quick actually to do that. So once you don't overthink it, once you've chosen your 2, then you need to consider your strengths and weaknesses really in depth and you can make a note of them, see what you can work on. Sometimes if we've got a weakness, maybe we're a bit possessive, maybe we are too rigid, and therefore sometimes if we meet people that are the same, you maybe don't like them, but actually they're reflecting in you what you don't like about yourself. So it's very difficult. Understand yourself first. So in order to understand yourself, every day you should be thinking about self-care, self-respect, and self-love. Being kind to yourself. And that's a difficult one. I mean, I tend to be, I like being kind. So it's always to other people. And if people try and do something for me, I always say, oh, I've got to do something back. But sometimes there's a feel good factor in just accepting even compliments. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm learning because I'm just human as well. But if somebody says, oh, you're looking good, what's your first instinct? You go, oh, I've got a new jacket. I've had my hair done. It's nothing to do with that. You should actually just be going, thank you, and making no excuses for it. So we need to accept compliments when they're made to us. And of course, you can start with yourself. You can actually, I've been promoting the bathroom in all these live videos, but when you're living with other people, it's all right if you're alone, but when you're living with other people, it could be a bit stupid, really. You can feel a bit silly going in front of a mirror going, oh, I look good. So just take yourself off somewhere where you're alone and look in that mirror and just say, do you know what? I like you. So you're looking at yourself. The eyes are the windows of the soul. So you're really looking yourself in the eyes. You're not tampering with your makeup and your hair or adjusting your tie or your jacket. You're looking at yourself. And all you need to see is, I like you. Now, if you can extend to the I love you, do you remember the parrot? There was a social media post, somebody posted up their parrot tapping the mirror going, I love you, I love you. And of course, we were all laughing. But actually, that's what we should be doing with ourselves. And it's not silly. There's only you in the bathroom. Well, you should be at that time when you're doing this. So here are some tips to look after and have a healthy relationship with yourself. The first thing is take care of your own needs first. And of course, that means getting enough rest, getting enough sleep, eating well if you can. And I know it's difficult just now, but do physical exercise. But more important to me is feeding your mind. Remember, the mind is extremely powerful. So you need to change your mindset. You can't change anyone else. They can't change you. I give these tips, my ABC, and I know that lots of people don't do them. Some of them will admit, no, I don't do them. And I really can't understand why, because they're simple. So if it takes you a couple of seconds to look at yourself and go, I like you, I feel good today, it raises your physiology, it changes your mindset and your feeling from negative to positive within about 20 seconds. And I mean, I could show it just if I suddenly get down and my voice drops and I'm really kind of negative. You'll all feel it just within seconds. So why feel that way? Bring your positive attitude up. The next tip is to consider what makes you happy. Now, it shouldn't be someone else. Now, it's all right having someone else that makes you happy, but it needs to come from within. It's got to be something that fills you with joy and laughter. And you can do this by treating yourself every day. Now, I don't mean spending money. Obviously, if you've got money to spend, and who am I to say don't buy yourself a treat if it makes you feel good and you want the latest handbag or something. But that's not really what I'm meaning. I'm meaning here not spending money. Think of something that brings you joy and fills you with that joy. And to me, I think we're seeing nature. Nature is it's blooming just now. So have a walk in nature. When you're walking to work, if you're still going to work, or you're allowed out, or even just opening the back door, the front door, look up. I mean, I'm looking up. It's a grey sky today, but a bird has just flown by. We miss these things. So you need to focus and just take a minute to look at that. Another thing is if you've got a bath. I love a bath, so have a relaxing bath. Put maybe some candles round about. Obviously be careful of fire, but something that relaxes you. Yoga is very good. Some people are turning to yoga classes. That's quite good because yoga can help with the breathing, because they're doing diaphragmatic breathing, the deep breathing. And remember, it's the breathing that brings oxygen into your bloodstream and it increases your energy while also relaxing. And remember, if somebody or something is annoying you, take 3 deep breaths. You can't do anything else. And it's proven, it's a psychological proven technique for calming you. And then you can either respond or not respond. It gives you time and space so that you're not getting angry as well. Do something creative. Learn something new. I mean, that's been fantastic. I've been looking at lots of social media posts on people who have, I know, I think it was it the Janie Godley, one of her videos, she was laughing. It was the voiceover for Nicola Sturgeon, I think. But it was like, if I see any more banana breads, but people have been turning to making bread, making cakes, painting, artwork, some of them singing, dancing. So you just learn something new. And it doesn't have to be, somebody was saying to me yesterday, oh, he's been learning something new every day. It doesn't need to be every day. It could be one new hobby, but you're expanding on it maybe each day. The other tip is that you need to consider your inner self. This is all about inside you. So what I mean by that is you need to think of your feelings and your thoughts. And by looking at your feelings and your thoughts, you actually will become more aware of yourself. This is all about self-awareness. Ask yourself and start a self-journal or a diary or a notebook. It's not a War and Peace book. It's like writing down just little snippets of what were you feeling today? What are your feelings? Now, it could be, I'm sad today. But once you identify it, you can do something about it. Instead of kind of just letting that sadness kind of take you over, you can also, why am I thinking this way? So you write down some of your thoughts. Now, some people, there's an exercise where you can write these down and then throw them away or rip them up and put them in the bin. I've always kept a diary or a journal. I'm obsessed with stationery. So for birthdays, people give me notebooks. So I start a notebook and then I start another one. But I write down my thoughts. And it's interesting when you look back, I self-reflect. I look back and go, oh, did I feel like that then? I didn't know that. I can't remember that. Or was it really that bad? Because sometimes what's really bad at that time doesn't seem so bad when you look back. You also need to think about the reasons behind why you behave the way you do. Why do you think the way you do? Why do you have these feelings? Ask yourself questions like, why does this person bother me? Why does that situation worry me? Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel more down some days and more lonely? Why am I lonely today? Now, when you're writing your answers to these, because there's no point in just having these going round and round in your head, because you get overwhelmed and you start overthinking. So when you write them down, you can then look and think, right, I'm going to answer these. What made me feel down? Who was upsetting me? Now, an exercise I do, and it's one of my, I suppose, my creative imagination exercises, but I often tell people, if somebody is annoying you, and maybe even yourself, if something's really getting you angry, it's getting under your skin, I have what I call the balloon or the ribbon exercise. Shove them in that balloon and let these go. Let these angry feelings go, the angry person go, and see them float away and say the affirmation, I let it go. I let it go. And then focus on something else and focus on something for you. And that takes me to the next tip, which is time and space. You need time and space for you. And I'm talking again about the bathroom. But obviously, if you're living all together just now and things are getting on top of you, you maybe always even worked remotely. But when you're working remotely under this situation, you've got dogs, cats, babies, children, husband, partner, everybody all rattling about, all trying to do the same thing. And you will get on people's nerves. There's no doubt about it. But instead of taking things out on them, because they might be feeling the same, take yourself off 5 or 10 minutes, 5 minutes even, less than that. I would say ideally you want to make my ABC your kind of good habit. And if you practice it every morning, I feel good, a deep breath, and just imagine a fabulous day ahead. Close your eyes and have yourself there. It will set you up for the day. You definitely feel better. Now, some people, in fact, somebody was sharing yesterday with me that they started yoga, or some people are doing, is it Joe Wicks, the physical exercises, and they look forward to that. Now, that's fabulous. You don't really need that. In this time, we're all maybe worrying about spending the pennies, or we're just not sure what to do. You can actually visualize yourself in that happy place. I mean, I had myself on the beach, just closed my eyes and I was just there on the beach. Is it in the Scottish Highlands? Is it in Jamaica? Is it in Africa? Wherever. And the water lapping. I love the sound of water, and I'm there. And that just gives me that feel-good factor. And of course, again, if you can't be alone, take yourself off to the bathroom, shut the door, and do that little short exercise. Another thing is, and I think some people are doing it, and I've talked about it before, keep an inspirational book or just a board, inspirational or achievement or aspiration board. I have one. I started it about 20 years ago, and it's like having a bucket list. I've not done everything yet, but it inspires me to tick off the ones I have done and the ones I've still to do. So if you have an inspirational book, of course, if you've not made up your own board, some of these books, there's ones where you have a different saying on each day. Now, I've asked people, I've talked about this before, use stickomancy. Now, stickomancy, people find this really, have I got one here? I don't know, I've got a wee book here, but stickomancy is just taking a book and doing that and just stopping and looking down at the page. Stickomancy is about finding random lines and paragraphs, and you will be amazed at what you find out, and that you need something you need to know about that day. And I mean, sometimes I know if you're religious and you're looking at the Bible or the Quran or anything, people can do that with these books as well. Just flick through them and it will open at a page they need to see that day, and it inspires you. I talked before, I had a friend came up from London and she was going for for an interview, and she had to go through a psychometric test, and she'd not done that. I think either had not done it ever or had not done it for years. And I said, right, let's just take us off to a bookshop. At that time, I think it was Waterstones. Now there's 4 or 5 floors. And she said, what are we going to do there? A coffee? I said, well, we will have a coffee. But what I want you to do is just wander around, just take time, look at all the shelves, look at all the books. And I do this frequently. Please try it. It's amazing. I look at all the books and I think, right, oh, there's a title that catches my eye. And I mean, it could be anything. It could be dinosaurs. It could be history. It could be art. It could be literature, anything. And I lift the book, it captures my eye, and then I do that stickomancy. I just flick through it and kind of close my eyes and I just stop at a page and I look down and there's something there. Honestly, the number of times, I don't think it's always worked for me. Just a line or two or a paragraph, it catches my eye and I think, oh, that's what I needed to find out today. So I was doing this when she rushed up and she said, in all these floors, look what I found, look what I found. And it was a book. Not, the title wasn't psychometric test. I can't even remember. It was about interview techniques or something. So it caught her eye and she opened it and it was how to perform in psychometric tests. And she said, in all these books, and I don't know what floor she'd gone to. So we had our coffee, and so it does work. Try it. And it might not be as specific as that, but you will find something you need to read at that moment in time. And I find that with self-help books, even the ones I've written, and I do hope people buy them, but don't expect them to read them from cover to cover. I think that's the problem. People get a self-help book and they think, oh, if I read this, I'm going to be fine at the end of it. That doesn't work that way, because when we're reading about things, we're not sometimes doing the things that it says. So I suggest if you've got any self-help books, I mean, there's loads of them, The Key, The Secret, all these things. There's academic ones on it. Use them like the Stickermancy. Just randomly go through them. If you're feeling, what am I feeling today? Just open the book, flick through it, and you will find something. Just a paragraph or two. So that's it. I really highly recommend that, because we don't have time. I have hundreds of self-help books, I think, on the shelves. I love books, but I can't read all of them. But I'll sometimes think, oh, that catches my eye. There's one. I'm just seeing one just now. It's starting a new you or something, you know. So I might lift that one today and open it. And I do that even with my own books. And I have one coming out. It's called Resilience and Courage, the Key to Endurance. So I do hope I'll be posting up when that's about to be published. It's just going to be after the book I've written about my son, the loss of my son. And that is The Weight of Emptiness, Comfort and Hope for those who have lost a loved one, whether that's to suicide, any kind of death. So I think that's really important. Particularly, I'm hoping that it brings comfort and hope to people who've not been able to say goodbye to their loved ones in this time. And I just can't imagine that. We can all see, I can empathise, but unless you've been through it, it must be really difficult that you've lost someone, whether it's through the COVID-19 virus or an other illness in this time, not to say goodbye, your last goodbyes, and touch them and give them a hug and a last goodbye must be absolutely horrendous. So I do hope that they get some comfort and hope from my book. And of course, my mind bites are meditations. I developed them to be short because, again, we're leading busy lives. Even if people have retired, even if even if they're not working, they're trying to find a job, etc. Everybody's really busy just now. So I designed them to be, they're about 2 minutes long, and you do your breathing with it, and we'll do one at the end here today, but you do your breathing with it and you find yourself being calmed down. It brings peace. And it can really help you through the most stressful situations. And I've experienced many challenges in my life, and I have weaknesses as well. I try and focus on my strengths. But when you've been through something really traumatic, and the most traumatic, obviously, for me was the loss of my eldest son. But he's at peace. He was a wonderful person, lightness and dark, but maybe more dark moments than light. And I'm doing my exercise just now, red door, blue door, or I would maybe be uncontrollably sobbing as I speak to you, which isn't good. When I leave, I can do that in the privacy of my own space. But I think that we need to just have some calmness within us, and it can energize you as well. Now, the kind of maybe the last tip of the day is be your own best friend. Now, when you're feeling negative, imagine that it's a friend or relative or partner or child. What would you say to them? You know, would you sort of sit and get negative with them, or would you try and boost them? Even a hug. Now, I know we can't do this now. I've talked about the virtual hugs. We can give them a virtual hug. It's not as good as an actual touch, but we're sending love and care to that person. And you can change negative to positive in 20 seconds. Our physiology changes in that time. So if you go from a glum to a smile, it's as quick as that. So of course, smiling is good. So always have a smile on your face. If you're a telephonist or in the call centres, and there's lots of us, I had to go on to someone about my broadband, and it was a lovely Irish voice. It was fabulous. So that he had a nice voice. He said I had a nice voice. That was really good. We were off to a good start. And my internet was so bad, on and off, more off than on. So I could have gone on really angry. But it's not his fault either. But if you have a rapport with someone, and I find myself smiling as I speak, and clearly he was too, and actually we had a good laugh, and the problem was resolved in a bit. I mean, it goes off sometimes, but it's a bit better, and I've got a new router coming. So always smile. And people will say to me, but I'm on the phone, nobody sees that. But people can hear your smile. They can actually feel that in your cheeks. So why would you not want to do that? And you're starting out, and when you've particularly got an angry customer, please smile, because they will feel that rather than getting angry. And I've seen people, it's interesting coping with angry people. The kind of calmer you get, they can often get more angry, but just stay your ground and you can resolve things much quicker. And of course, what I was talking about yesterday, please, if you don't know something or you don't know how to resolve something, don't say you can. Admit that's not something I've heard of before, that's not something I know about, but I will find out for you, because that gains respect. People don't want someone who just bluffs their way, and you can be found out anyway. So smile and laugh. And I thought today that we would do, because I'm kind of taking you into the realms of yourself, inner self, I thought we would finish with my golden sphere. People like this one. I try and do lots of different ones. I'm going to be adding to the Mind Bites on my website more and more. It's nearly there. There will be a shop soon. That's been my kind of focus, trying to get the shop working properly. And we're nearly there. And I've got a Circle Safe. It's not quite an app yet, but it is a mental health questionnaire where you can monitor your own mental health. So I'm going to be launching that as well. But back to the Mind Bites and the golden sphere. So what you need to do is you need to be sitting with your feet on the ground, no crossed legs. You've got to have your feet on the ground. You've got shoulders back. Sit as comfortably as you can. And just relax, and you've got to take a deep breath, close your eyes and take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then exhale through the mouth. Take another deep breath in through the nose, and when you exhale, feel the stress and tension and anxiety leave your body. Now, when you're looking at your inner self, it can be a bit scary. So this Mind Bite helps you to feel safe and secure. And anytime you're feeling vulnerable, you can use this to help yourself feel safe and secure. When you need to protect yourself from negative emotions, and whether that's your own negative emotions or others, please use this. Step inside. If you're not claustrophobic, step inside the golden sphere. If you're claustrophobic, you can stand outside and still feel its glow. So imagine yourself standing on sun-drenched sand. Feel the sun on your face. Feel the warmth. Feel that warmth flow through your body from head to toe. You feel relaxed. On your right, there is a large golden sphere. You feel its warmth. You feel its glow all around you. Now, if you feel you can, step inside the golden sphere and feel its warmth envelop you, circle you. You feel secure. You feel confident. A feeling of warmth and calm engulfs you. You feel protected. It's like a virtual hug all round about you. Now take a deep breath in, hold, and then exhale. Now slowly open your eyes, and you can step out of the golden sphere or further away from it if you've not been inside it. You still feel its warmth. That you'll carry that warmth with you. You feel confident, and you can say your affirmations then. I feel safe. I feel secure. I know I can step inside the golden sphere anytime I want or need to feel safe and secure. And then you can stretch or yawn, just sugar your shoulders, as we say here, and just get yourself relaxed again. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's finding out about yourself. So Relationship Wednesday was about your relationship you have with yourself. I'm going to continue the theme on Friday, but this is going to be talking about how to create healthy relationships with others. So I'm doing these 3 times a week now. So the next one is on Friday at 10. And please, virtual hugs to everybody. If you're alone, give yourself a hug and enjoy today. And I'll be back on Friday. So virtual hugs and bye for now. See you Friday.